So how do we evaluate, Manisha, the success of this kind of initiative, right? Do we measure it in terms of duration? Do we measure it to say that my leaders were X and now they are X and Y from what we have taught? Do we create forums where they go out and go back and teach back, right? In the traditional sense, some of these programs are done where. So, what are the ways in which we can evaluate that? We've been successful, and anything any stories or anything that you can share there?
I would say, yeah, definitely. Metrics becomes very important always
Yeah.
when we launch an initiative.
Yeah.
But my only take in the entire thing would be, Nikhil, that as an organization, we need to be a bit patient. As I said, when you're driving an initiative, which is more about a cultural change in the organization, right? While measuring the success becomes important, but in terms of the time, what you were mentioning, it will not happen that I have launched it today and it starts from tomorrow. This is my personal experience. Any initiative has to have a 6 months to a year incubation period where you actually start saying that now it has started giving me results. Yeah, this is what I had started with an intent and I'm really going to that intent. So if I go back to a traditional mentoring, okay, if I go back to a traditional mentoring, some of the success measures which we have used for traditional mentoring can be that what has been the engagement of mentor or mentee, or how many sessions we had, or if I've charted out a charter saying that a growth or a retention or a promotion where I've been able to achieve that for a mentee, right? Then becomes a success measure in a traditional mentoring program. But now, if you look at a reverse mentoring program, as I said in the beginning of the discussion, at times it's a bit more subject oriented also, right? It's not like a generic discussion. So I would say that the success measure becomes very unique to an organization who's implementing it and the intent they have charted out. I can give you some examples, right?
Sure.
Like, for example, if you had said that my intent is to increase a social media awareness within my leaders are not very social media savvy. So I'm kind of leveraging my young talent to teach them more about social media branding. Then your success measure becomes that um, how how much comfortable your leaders are now with social media platform, how many posts they are doing, or are they really have started now attracting talent through social media, right? So that becomes your measure of success. I'm just giving you some examples. So that can be one way. Second, reverse mentoring one is also like, for example, if you have a small LGBTQ community, okay, and suppose I'm using reverse mentoring to spread a larger message about some of this community or allyship in the organization, then how prevalent that concept is in the organization now? Or if I had 500 registration before, do I have 2,000 employees now joining that group, right? So some of those can be a measure of your reverse mentoring, okay? Or there can be other measures, like, for example, you continue to take regular feedback, right? Because it is very important when you launch a program, you are also launching certain surveys. I would not say like a survey, but some way of like quickly checking the pulse. Yeah. That can also become one of your measures, saying that whether employees or the leaders are really liking the concept. Fourth can also be like every organization has some way of capturing their employee feedback, a voice of the employee, right? And there are organizations who runs inclusivity index also as a part of the engagement. So do you see an improvement in your inclusivity index? Because it also, creates a much inclusive organization. So I would say, I'm just giving an example, but I would say that as an organization, why you are doing it, which group you're addressing, which skill set you're addressing,